All right, boys. So let's get stuck straight in. Today's claim. Not only is atheism a ridiculous position to hold, but actually fundamentally, at its core, it does not exist. And I'm going to get into that today and go through kind of the motions and the way that my brain attacks this problem. So why? As far as I can see it, the question is not whether or not somebody believes. The question is what they believe in. What do they worship? Because everybody worships something. So, first let's look at the word itself. Atheism or theism. What is that? To go to the textbook definition, a theist is a person who believes in the existence of a god or gods, and specifically a creator who intervenes in the universe. Obviously, atheist is, when they put the A at the front, is just to remain silent on that issue. So, not this. And my contention is that everybody believes in something. Whether they want to hide from that fact, whether they want to lie to themselves about it or not, everybody believes in something. And to get a little bit deeper into those somethings, we can start to look at the available different options. So, theism, as we covered, it's a personal, intervening creator. So it's a God who designed this, created this, and then also plays a role in the creation once it's set in motion. Then you have deism, which is a non-intervening creator. Then you've got pantheism, which is more or less what a lot of the world, a lot of the West kind of hangs their hats on today, which is a God or universe inside the God. It's kind of God is everything, God is all things, we're all little parts of God. And this part I was stuck on for a long time. Thankfully, I was never stupid enough to call myself atheism. I've done a lot of silly things in my life, but none that silly to call myself an atheist. But pantheism, whether I didn't classify it as that or not, but I did kind of subscribe to that. Then you've got atheism, which is the topic of the day, which is a denial of God altogether. And then you've got agnosticism, which is a funny one because that's just kind of like flipping the monopoly board and pretending like you don't hold a position. But like I said up front, everybody holds a position in this discussion, whether they want to accept it or not. So basically, if we have those available options, we have some people who believe in pretty much the obvious reality all around us, that this all came from an intentional mind. This was set into motion, there was a prime mover, and there is a designer behind this design. There is a creator behind this creation. But then you've got people who just want to opt out, And I kind of get that, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I spent a lot of my life trying to internalize that. I never could call myself an atheist because just objectively, that's a ridiculous position. Look around. It cannot be that this is accidental. I don't know what age, but I knew from such a young age that the story of the Big Bang is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So, why is opting out not an option? A lot of people think that they can just opt out of this discussion, call themselves agnostic, or call themselves atheist. And my contention is that is ridiculous. That is not possible. You cannot do that. It's not one of the available options. And it's based on a few things. It's based on human nature. Again, which I'll argue till the cows come home. That's our nature, which was given to us by a creator. We know inherently that we were created. Whether there's people who want to go their own way and do their own thing or not, we know inherently that we were created. And at the end of the day, every single last one of us is searching for the meaning and the direction in life that is related to that instinct of being created. So if every single human being has an inherent craving for meaning and understanding and direction in life, then by default, every single one of us falls back on something. For me, it's always been God. It's always been a creator. What I used to say to kind of jujitsu my way out of a God as an authority figure is that God is the three-letter word that we put to the unexplainable. So God is the three-letter word that we put to the unexplainable. And I used to feel pretty content with that. That with that description, I get out of the responsibility of actually having to learn about this God and then come into relationship with this God or understanding, even to begin with. So if no human being can live without meaning, that means every single human being will place their authority, will place their worship in something. Whether it's some kind of a functional religion, whether it's science, whether it's politics, whether it's some other twisted, scuffed ideology, identity movements. Everybody places their worship in something. That's what you have to understand. That's what so many people try and escape and trying to avoid accepting. Everybody puts their faith in something. Whether it's God, whether it's a creator, whether it's one of the many different worldviews and religions, whether it's politics, whether it's science, whether it's any of these identity movements, everybody's putting their faith somewhere. And as the famous quote goes, when a man stops believing in God, it's not that he believes in nothing. It's that he'll believe in anything. And that's a very profound statement that speaks to the core of us. I don't care who you are, you can yell and you can scream, you can kick, but you feel that. Or the other saying goes, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's basically what it comes down to here. If we remove the authority from God, from a creator, then it's our inherent need, it's our inherent nature to find a replacement in where to place that authority. We need it. So, what do we do with this inescapable reality? If every human being worships, then the only question is, what do they worship? That's the only question left. That's the only question that you have to ask yourself. What do I worship? Is it an ideology? Is it science? Is it the material world around us? I see so many people stuck on that. They want to apply the physical limitations to the infinitude, to the infinity, to the unexplainable, to the creator. And it doesn't work that way. So many people get stuck there. I was stuck for a long time trying to, I wouldn't allow it to let me become atheist, but I would allow it to deify myself, which I spent my majority of my life doing. And where does that lead? If there is no such thing as a true atheist, because every single person worships some kind of a false god. And that's why in the scriptures, the first commandment, the second commandment is to not worship false idols, to worship no other god besides me. And this is tough for people to accept. This is a very, very tough thing because people don't want to surrender. People want to retain control and authority and power over their lives without realizing that the whole time they're doing so, they've just placed authority somewhere else, whether it's in governmental institutions, politics, whether it's in science. It's always an authority. There's always, or whether it's even just consensus. I hear people arguing all the time, but everybody believes this. It has to be true. No, it doesn't. For whatever reason, I've always been comfortable going against the grain. So I never got hung up on that. You could have literally every single 8 billion other people on this planet tell me to go left. And if I don't believe that, I'll go right. I'm comfortable to do that. But most people aren't. Most people are happy to appeal to consensus and appeal to authority for some of these big questions. But just because the majority of people do something doesn't make it right. Just because even the majority of smart people or some very, very authoritative figures do something doesn't make it right. We all have free thinking minds. We all have free will. We all have God-given logic and rationality in our brains. So use it. So I think that's my challenge to you. Rather than standing outside the court, which is kind of agnosticism, standing outside the court and criticizing, you're outside the game, but you want to criticize and tell people on the inside of the game how they should be doing things. That's a cop-out, brother. Think about it. If you want to have an opinion on something, then step in the arena. Put some skin in the game. You can't say, oh, I'm an atheist or I'm an agnostic. You can't say that because your worship, your deification is placed elsewhere. You have a false god. You have a false idol. Power, money, material possessions, science, politics, governments, identity, politics, as I've gone over already. But I think my point is driven home well enough. The fact is, it does seem like a big step to give up authority or to place faith or belief in a immaterial being that is far, far, far outside our ability to conceive, outside human conception. It seems overwhelming to place faith there and hope. But I promise you, once you do, there is freedom there. And it's actually the only form of true freedom. Because placing hope in the material world, in all these things that I've listed out, leads to despair in the long term. And I'm going to do another video about the currency of God and the currency of the devil and the contracts that each one will have us sign. But think about that. Marinate on this thought. Do you really have no idol? Do you really have no deity? Or do you? And is it a false god? And then, further, what are the fruits of this belief? What are the fruits in your life? Where is it bringing you? Do you feel free? Do you feel peace? Do you feel fulfillment? Or do you feel despair? I want to leave it there. As always, comment, let me know your thoughts below. I engage with the comments. I like it. They're starting to pick up steam. And I want to hear your opinions. Push back if you got pushback. If there was anything, any tangent that you want to see me go down in another video, let me know. And I'll do it. So, looking forward to hear from you. God bless.